south of 21st, and then south of that is parking and some housing.
Okay, so you're talking about the southwest corner of 21st and Market?
Yes.
Yeah, Market.
Okay, that's Jim Basham's property.
Would you like me to send it to you also? Or you can go
Yeah.
to the auction, but I'll be
Yeah.
happy to do that.
Yeah, if you figure it out, that would be great.
Okay.
You know, there have been people interested in that property, and he would not sell or even lease
Yeah.
Mhm.
because
I'm pretty- Go ahead.
there's some frontage property that's kind of actually north of the theater, but that fronts 21st Street that some people have been interested, where they painted those murals on the north
Yes.
side.
Right.
But he wouldn't do anything with it. And I've been wondering how he's doing even. Is that rental store still open up there? Fashion Furniture Rental?
I think it is. I've driven by. Yeah, Anna's shaking her head too. When
Yeah.
I drive by there, it looks like it's open. But you
Yes,
know,
it
they took all those storefronts down just east of there.
Right.
Yeah. They've leveled them.
Oh, they have? East of
Yeah.
Market?
East, yes, east of Market, east of the rental store.
Right. But
Yeah.
I think the first building on the east side of Market and 21st is included in these. And what they normally do is they sell, I think there's 3 or 4 different packets, and they'll sell them individually and then they'll sell them together. And then whichever brings the most, I'm guessing that might be what they're doing. And I'm sorry, guys, I looked at it pretty quickly.
Okay.
So I may be wrong on some of it.
Yeah, but if you,
I'm gonna mute again.
okay, thanks, Claire. Appreciate that. Well, good morning again, everybody. Glad that you could join us today. We don't have a speaker today, but I have some announcements, and Anna's gonna talk about a few things, and we have a guest with us today that we're going to introduce, and then we'll make sure we have time at the end for some questions. And I think Anna, are police and fire going to join us? Do you know?
They should. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to join us this morning. It just depends on whether they're on calls or if they're attending a medical call. So we'll see if they join throughout the 1 hour duration of the meeting.
Okay, when they, if and when they pop in, we'll pause and give them some time. So first thing I'd like to do is have we have a small enough group this morning. Let's have everybody go around and introduce themselves, what neighborhood you live in, kind of what your connection is to District 6. I know we have some guests today that don't live in District 6, which I love to have that. So I think all of you know me. I'm Cindy Claycomb. I'm the city council member for District 6. My husband, Charlie, is with me today. Smile, Charlie. So Charlie's with me. Also, we figured out if we're on the same screen, it's a lot better. Otherwise we get feedback and all this kind of stuff. So Anna, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, thank you, Councilmember Claycomb. My name is Ana Lopez. I am the Community Service Representative for District 6. I also manage the Evergreen Neighborhood Research Center, and I'm a proud resident of District 6 here in Delano.
Right, thank you. Rick, how about you?
Yeah, my name's Rick Chauffet, and I'm a board member with Black Hawk Wichita. I'm also involved with the Prairie Sunset Trail and the Redbud Trail. I'm vice president of each of those boards. And we have a great interest in what District 6 is doing to make more accessibility and livability a reality in District 6. And so Cindy's always very gracious to share with us. So I wanted to jump in and become a little more informed about what District 6 is doing.
Thank you, Rick. Thanks for joining us. Janet?
Yes, I'm Janet Miller, and oops. Oh, I am unmuted. I'm Janet Miller, District 6 resident and interested in all things Wichita.
And for those of you that don't know, Janet is my predecessor. She served a little over 8 years on city council before I did. So thanks, Janet. How about Barb?
Hi, everybody. I'm Barbara Coates, and I live in the Indian Hills area of District 6. I'm also a board member of Bike Walk Wichita, so I'm interested in that aspect of it. But like Rick, I'm just also interested in what's going on in the government.
I love having these Bike Walk Wichita members on. It's always
Sometimes you love it.
I love the things you guys are doing, so it's great. Lonnie.
I'm a guest out of the district, but I like to keep up with all the districts. And I'm particularly interested with District 6 because of your heritage of having some of the most informed citizens and most engaged with the citizens.
Absolutely. Thanks, Lonnie. John. Oh, you're muted, John. You're muted.
John Dittmer in Riverside. I don't feel so informed, but whatever.
Well, you're here today to be informed, right?
Well, there you go. It'll improve.
Thanks for joining us, John. Claire.
Claire Willenberg, North Riverside Neighborhood Association President and member of the Historic Preservation Advisory Board for the city and interested in everything Wichita.
Thank you, Claire. Bill.
There, I had to get the right button. I'm Bill Washburn. I'm with Sherwood Glen. I'm blessed with getting to serve on District 6 DAB and kind of dabble in a few other things as well.
That's right. Thanks, Bill. Great community advocate for his neighborhood and for the city as a whole. So thank you. Ty.
Hi, good morning. I'm Ty Tabing. I live in Riverside and also serve on the park board representing District 6. So it's my first Saturday morning coffee. I'm glad to be a part of it this morning.
All right. Thanks, Ty. And then finally, our guest today. Most of you have seen the work that we're doing to create the new community center at Evergreen, the combination of the library, the neighborhood resource center, and some nonprofits in the community. And a new nonprofit was just formed. And again, I've talked to you guys about this, about the Empower Evergreen nonprofit. And we have hired an executive director, and he is with us today, Ariel Rodriguez. And so I'm going to turn it over to Ariel just to talk a little bit about why he came to Empower Evergreen and kind of a little bit about his background and anything else he wants to tell us. So Ariel, the floor is yours.
Thank you for that kind introduction, and good morning, everybody. As Councilwoman Claycomb said, I joined Empower Evergreen on Monday, so I am just finishing up the first week. And as Janet is clapping over there, I told her I will be coming back for week 2, so we've already agreed to continue on that. But it's been a good week so far. So I am a Wichita native, and I grew up in Wichita and went to KU and spent some time up in Lawrence at the Boys and Girls Club. So that's kind of how I got started in my nonprofit journey and career. And so I moved back to Wichita in 2017, and I joined Rise Up for Youth, which is a youth mentoring program here in Wichita. And so I served as the executive director there for about 3.5 years. And I came over now to Empower Evergreen. I was very excited about all the opportunities that are happening in the Wichita's North End for the Hispanic community. And so I'm super excited to continue this mission as we wade into developing the organization, bringing in partnerships with other organizations, community members such as you all, as we push forward in the areas of educational opportunities, small business development, as well as developing the workforce here in our Wichita and North End community. So I look forward to learning from all of you, meeting you all, and really getting involved in the community. We did launch our Facebook page yesterday, so this is my plug that if you want to take a moment to go and like the page, it is Empower Evergreen. That's a way you can reach out to me there as well. because I would love to hear from you all if you have any great ideas or community knowledge that you think is relevant as I move forward in this position. And it looks like Anna did just share the link out too, so it's one more place to find that information.
Thank you, Ariel. We are so excited to have Ariel as a partner with us at the new community center. And I would open it up if anybody has any questions for him or me or Janet. We both serve on the advisory board for that group. Any questions about the new community center, about Empower Evergreen? Well, I'll give you just a quick update on the facility. We have hired a construction company to begin that construction. And if you drive by the former library at 25th and Arkansas, you can see that there are construction crews out there working away. I have not been inside lately. We are going to, Anna and I are going to go film a little tour of it when they'll let us in, and post that out to Friends of Evergreen and other places, probably out on our Facebook page, to show folks the progress that's being made. But we're really excited for that. It's anticipated that that new center will be open by the end of the year. The construction crews, as things are going now, say that it could be close to a November timeframe, but they just never know until they get in there and get everything going. So anyway, any questions for Ariel or me? All right, well, Ariel, thank you for joining us. We are so excited to have you, and just so excited for the partnership between Empower Evergreen and the city and our other nonprofit groups. So Janet, you have anything to add? I know you spent this week quite a bit with Ariel.
Oh, I would just say I'm as excited as a kid in a candy store to be to this point. This has such a long history of Ariel's gotten a real lesson in how long this idea has been going, which is like since early 2000s. And then more seriously, it's kind of put to sleep in around 2014, and then it was brought back to life in 2017. And since then it's really grown legs. So I keep reminding myself of the saying, sometimes you have to go slow to go fast. So we went slow for a long time and we're going fast now. And this whole idea that the Basham property is up for sale right now is kind of killing me. I wish we had our land bank, because that property is so important. We've got to continue having walkable storefront property along there, not a giant gas station or Quick Trip or I don't know what, parking lot or what. Anyway, that's the kind of thing that someday we hope to have helped small businesses grow to the point from the international market there that they could actually start moving into storefronts along there and being sustainable, profitable businesses. It'll be a lot harder if all that has been cleared and something, I don't know what the word would be other than terrible, goes in there. So anyway, not to be a downer, I am very excited, and Ariel and I spent some quality time together this week, and just really looking forward to forward momentum and keeping things going. And we'll hopefully roll out some good announcements over the next few weeks and months. So thank you. Thank you to Cindy, Councilmember Claycomb, because if she had not continued this initiative, it really would have died on the vine, and that would have been very, very sad. But she didn't, so she kept us going.
Well, it's been a pleasure. This has been a really great endeavor, much like other things we're working on, but this is one that's really, like Janet said, kind of picked up steam, and we have a great group of people working together with us and to make this happen. So I'm looking forward to, Janet said some great announcements coming forward. So thanks, Ariel. You're welcome to stay, and you're always welcome to join us. So we'll have you back for some periodic status reports over time as things move forward. So thanks. All right, Anna, do you want to give, I asked Anna, I think a week or so ago, she and Camila Alexander, who's the District 1 CSR, they gave a little presentation to Habitat for Humanity homeowners and about being a good neighbor. And I asked her if she would share some tips from that. I thought it was an interesting presentation. And so she said, yeah, she'd share some tips at our coffees in the near future. So I'm going to turn it over to Anna to share a couple of those.
Hi, guys. Good morning. Thank you for joining us today. Like Councilmember Claycomb said, this is about a 1 hour long presentation, but what we're going to be doing from now on is at every different coffee, we're going to touch on a different subject, just to kind of get you guys some idea, get you guys plugged in within the Office of Community Services for the City of Wichita. And I think for today, the topic that I'm gonna be presenting is Neighborhood Watch. This is very important since I do know that we have some members of the different neighborhood associations here in District 6 present. I think this is good information for you guys to have and to pass along during your different meetings and to your neighbors around your neighborhoods. So what is Neighborhood Watch? Neighborhood Watches help residents connect and work with the Wichita Police Department to keep their neighborhoods safer. Some neighborhoods do have those signs and you've seen them around. Basically what this is this alerts people around the area and people who might be looking at different property, different, breaking into cars, breaking into homes. It lets them know that neighbors are watching. This creates it starts by creating a good relationship with your neighbors. So the first step would be for you guys to get to know your neighbors. If it doesn't mean that you guys have to have a super close relationship, but knowing who they are, what their names are, where they work. And sometimes it helps when they let you know that, hey, I'm going to be heading out. I'm going to be on vacation. Can you keep an eye out for the property or around? What does Neighborhood Watch do? So it's more, it involves a lot of community involvement. It involves everybody working together. It creates a strong bond with the neighbors. It has fewer incidents of opportunities to commit crime. So crime will deter and people will think twice about breaking into a home. Greater sense of security and reduced fear of crime. Also, it enhances relationships with the Wichita Police. How do you start a neighborhood watch? If you guys want more information, you can contact any of the patrols, patrol north, south, east, or west, and you can contact one of your community police officers. If you guys don't know who your community police officer is, there's different ways of you guys to get to know who that is. There is an online, it's a tracker where if you plug in your address, it will pinpoint you to what beat you reside in. So if your house is within the Delano area, you're the beat officer for that. The community police officer for that beat is Officer Atondo. So that's one way it will give you his information so you guys can contact with them. Also, when there's suspicious characters around your neighborhood, if you happen to see something that looks odd or suspicious, please call 911 so an officer can go out and check it out. They're glad to go out there and see what's going on. If it turns out to be just somebody walking around, they rather you guys go ahead and call right away when you see something. Crime Stoppers is also a way to help the Wichita Police Department solve crimes by providing tips, and you can always submit tips anonymously by calling 316-267-2111. There's also real track time statistics where you can track crimes that are happening in your neighborhood, and I will plug in all of those links here to the chat in just a moment. Do you guys have any questions about Neighborhood Watch? Is there anything that we can do as the Office of Community Services to connect you guys to your community police officers?
as Anna mentioned, you can, plug in your address to find your community police officer. We've also, if you go to the District 6 webpage where we have a list of all of the neighborhood associations, who the contact is for that, Anna's also added the community police officer for each neighborhood on that list too. So it's an easy way to go check that. And if you want any information about neighborhood associations, it's on there too.
And this is the webpage within the City of Wichita police page. It's pretty simple. You go to the wichitapolice.com and you are going to go to community police officers. Right here is where you would type your address. And I'm gonna go ahead and type the address for the Neighborhood Resource Center, the Evergreen Neighborhood Resource Center. You type your address and you click search. It's going to down here give you the results, which it tells me that the Neighborhood Resource Center is in Beat 49, Patrol North. And if you scroll down, it's going to have the patrol, their phone number, the patrol office, their phone number, and the officers that are assigned to that specific patrol. If we scroll down right here to Beat 49 and you click on there, it's going to take you to the officers who patrol the area, including the community police officer, which is Officer Casey Winder. And if you click on here, it's going to send you directly to their email. So you can go ahead and send them an email if you have any questions, if you want to report anything, or if you just want to contact them. It also gives you a map of what Beat 49 covers.
So a pretty handy tool.
Yes, it is. Another way to go ahead and get in touch with your community police officers, we usually have during the first meeting of the month, the district advisory board meeting, we have Wichita police officers who present staff reports. And that's also a great way to go ahead and get in touch with them and start creating that relationship that will enhance and fortify your neighborhood.
All right, thank you, Anna. Any questions for Anna? Yeah, Barb.
I don't have a question as much as I'd like to add a little something. One of the things about safety in neighborhoods is just people being out on the street and walking and biking. And Bike Walk Wichita is working on trying to involve neighbors and neighborhoods in more walking, particularly. We've been in contact with Denise and Catalina at Evergreen and the Salud Bienestar initiative. So we're hoping to work with them to try to help develop some just informal neighborhood walking and stuff.
Yeah, that's great. So it sounds like people that were interested in that could talk with Salud Bienestar too, or Bike Walk Wichita. If they have an interest in perhaps getting walking started in their neighborhood. Yeah, all right. Thanks, Barb. All right. Thank you, Anna. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
And Anna's
Councilmember Claycomb.
Yep.
And so next month, we're going to be talking about animal complaints. If you guys have any questions, send them my way and I'll go ahead and try to get answers before next month's District 6 coffee, but I will also be presenting some tips on how to report or how to go ahead and take care of some animal complaints that are happening in your neighborhoods.
All right. Thank you. All right. Good deal. And then I just have a few things that I want to cover. This week, you probably all saw that we appointed a council member for District 3, Jared Cirillo. And if you have or haven't been following it, I'll kind of just summarize what happened. 2 weeks ago, two and a half weeks ago now, but 2 weeks ago, we had a vote. There were 5 candidates that were put forward by the District Advisory Board. The District Advisory Board did lengthy interviews with the candidates and advanced 5 candidates forward to the City Council. 2 weeks ago, we took 5 votes. There are paper ballots and the clerk reads them. And we could not come to any sort of majority vote at that time. This week, we again had the same 5 candidates and voted again, and Jared got 4 votes, which is what he needed to be able to be appointed. I thought I might talk just a little bit about my vote in case you're interested. If you saw that the first week that we voted, I voted 5 times for Cindy Miles. Some of you may know Cindy. She is a great community advocate. She is very involved with Empower Evergreen and has been almost since the time that I've been working on it. And she has lived in District 3 almost I think her entire adult life. She has been on the Planning Commission, was chair of the Planning Commission. She is on the District Advisory Board, and she, in her professional life, she is CEO and president of the Kansas Nonprofit Chamber. And again, she was advanced as the #1 candidate by the District Advisory Board. So I thought, after listening to the interviews, and then as a council member, we did one-on-one interviews with all 5 of the candidates. And I found her to be who I thought at that time that would represent the District 3 residents very well for a period of time. This appointment is only until January 10th of 2022. There will be an election in November where a permanent candidate will be chosen. This week, it became pretty evident that no one else was going to change their vote to Cindy Miles. And if we got to, after 15 votes, it would come to a coin toss. And I didn't think that was a very good way to choose a council member, even for a short period of time. So I had to make a decision on who I would change to if I didn't want it to come to a coin toss. Jared Cirillo was the second candidate that the DAB had advanced. He got the second most votes, has lived in District 3, again, almost his entire life. He was he is a Wichita native. I think he said he lived out of the district for maybe a year sometime early in his professional life, but he, I think, has a good handle on that. Also serves on the District Advisory Board and has been involved with his community. I think served on one other city committee, I think maybe CSBG review committee, something like that. Anyway, so that is how my thought process worked in terms of who would represent the citizens of District 3. I don't get to ultimately decide that in November. The residents actually get to vote, and they will choose their candidate. If, just to let you know why City Council chose this, if the time remaining on someone's term is less than 2 years, council appoints. If it's more than 3 years, it goes out for a vote. So that's how that is set. So any questions on that? What I'd like to do, I hadn't thought about this. I should have invited Jared this morning, but maybe I'll ask him to come to the April coffee and introduce himself if you'd like to meet him. So questions on process, my thinking process, or anything related to that? All right, a couple other things this week. Oh, Bill, you have something? Maybe not.
There.
Okay.
There.
All right.
Charlie, you'll appreciate this. I'm just not cut out for an iPad. You know, I gotta have a DOS system to work with. Anyway, I guess what came through my mind is all that was going through there is Cindy, I can't thank you enough for recognizing when a change of course needed to be initiated and having the courage to do so. Good job.
Well,
I have no idea how good a job he's going to do, but a decision was needed that was going to move this forward. You did good.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right. A couple other things. Many of you have been staying up on the Places for People plan. And as you know, we have seen information on the land bank and information on zoning. And at a workshop this week, at the City Council workshop this week, we will hear from staff about incentives. I just kind of an update on what's going on. We are out for community feedback on land banks and the zoning changes. Land Bank, I think, has had a few questions, and we're answering those and kind of figuring that out. I think that may go forward quicker than the zoning piece. I just think a lot of questions about zoning. It really impacts neighborhoods just very closely, and people feel very passionate about what happens in their neighborhoods, which is great. And so we are going to slow down that zoning piece a little bit to make sure that we have the right implementation of the plan. I spent a couple hours last weekend going back to the original Places for People plan, just to refresh myself in terms of what is it we're trying to do. And I had some questions for staff about, particularly, I think if you look at one of the things that Places for People really pushes is that we want to make communities and neighborhoods more walkable. Well, if you look at the zoning changes proposed, I'm not clear on exactly how they make them more walkable without doing some of the other things that are in the plan that have to do with sidewalks and connections and that sort of thing. So anyway, we're that's just one example, but we'll work to get some of those answers for people, and I think work to say, are these changes that are being proposed, are they the right ones, or are there other changes that perhaps are the right answer? So stay tuned. And again, if you're interested, the incentives workshop is Tuesday. It will be recorded so you can watch it anytime after that. Neighborhood cleanups, we are taking applications for those through April 30th. If your neighborhood has not signed up for a cleanup, and I would encourage all neighborhoods to do this, but there are only so many slots for those. Anna can help you with those, but applications are being taken through April 30th. And then Anna, can you talk just a little bit about the services we have at the Neighborhood Center in terms of rent and utility assistance and pre-tax prep and Wi-Fi hotspots?
Yes, of course. Thank you, Councilmember Claycomb. So we do have a few events happening at Evergreen. The first one that's coming up actually this coming Monday, it's Fill in the Gap, Lunches for Kids. This is through the Wichita partners. And what's going to happen is there's different areas throughout the city, and District 6 has 3, one of them being Evergreen Neighborhood Resource Center. Kids will be able to take home with them a box with 5 lunches, snacks, and drinks to last them the whole week. This is being done just out of precaution due to COVID. In previous years, kids could come to the Neighborhood Resource Center, grab their lunch and eat there if they wanted to, or they could just go ahead and head home. This year, they will be sent home with all the food to last them through the week. We are going to be doing a drive-through type of service. Children will not have to get out of the car. Moms can go ahead and drive through. We'll place the food in their vehicles. Kids are also encouraged to walk if they live in the surrounding areas. So if you have anybody who has kids or know anybody, please go ahead and let them know that this is happening. At Evergreen, there was a post at the Wichita District 6 Facebook page, and we'll go ahead and remind everybody on Monday again. This will be happening from noon to 1, and it's servicing youth, all children ages 0 to 18. If parents are driving kids, kids must be present in the car to be able to receive the food. I will go ahead and post the three different sites that will are in District 6. So the other one is in downtown, the Salvation Army in downtown, and the Humankind Ministries Villa Court at 930 North Market. Salvation Army is just at 350 North Market, just a few blocks south of the Humankind Ministries Villa. That's happening on Monday. At their Neighborhood Resource Center right now, we are currently taking applications for LEAP. LEAP is a program by the Department of Children and Families that assist low-income residents with their electric energy or their gas bill. We have those applications in paper So people are welcome to come in, fill them out. We'll go ahead and make sure that those are turned in either by fax or email to the Department of Children and Families. Those applications can also be filed online if you have access to a computer or an iPad. There recently was announced as of last week that they've extended the deadline. The deadline was set for March 30th at the beginning, but now it's mid-May. So there is more opportunity for those who are interested to apply for this resource and this service. Income guidelines have also increased from 130 to 150. So those who qualified, those who didn't qualify prior to the income guidelines being increased will also DCF will go back through those applications and review them and approve those who do qualify now. We also have the Wichita Emergency Rental Assistance Program. Those are those we don't have paper copies because applications are only submitted online. You guys can get help with past due rent and utilities, and also future rent and utilities in 3-month increments. Eligibility will be done every 90 days. So for more information on how to apply, you can give us a call at the Evergreen Neighborhood Resource Center at 303-8042, or you guys can also visit wichita.gov/WERAP.
Hey, Anna, if somebody needed help, if they weren't real comfortable doing an online application, where would they get help?
So we can help at the Neighborhood Resource Center. We've been trained, myself and the administrative aide, Sarah Pineda. We can answer any questions and we can guide people through the process. We found out that if you guys have a smartphone, it's very easy and the best way to go ahead and submit that application is very user-friendly. It does ask you to submit some documents to verify that you qualify for the program. So you can take the pictures directly from your phone and submit them. You don't have to scan, you don't have to print, so that's very user-friendly. We are at the center. We'll help you with any questions. We'll guide you to the process. And if you need help directly submitting an application, we also have a housing representative at the center every Tuesday from 8:30 to noon to help further help those with submitting those applications on site. Two more announcements, Councilmember Claycomb. We do have Evergreen Rec Center is getting ready to start enrollment for summer camp this year. Summer camp will begins June 1st and ends July 30th. So for more information, you guys can call the Evergreen Recreation Center at 316-303-8036. Due to COVID, they do have limited amount of spaces this year. So if you guys want to go ahead and enroll your kiddos, go ahead and sign up as soon as possible. Enrollment starts March 29th, and it will be by appointment only. So give them a call if you want more information. We'll also post that on the Wichita District 6 Facebook page. And for next month, we are getting ready to, we're planning the 3rd food distribution mobile pantry at Evergreen. That will be happening Friday, April 2nd at 1 p.m. at Evergreen Park.
And if you want to volunteer, they're always looking for volunteers. It's an outdoor job, socially distanced and out in the night. Usually, I think the weather's been nice for our first 2. So we've had good luck with
yes.
that. Yeah.
We were actually lucky. The first distribution that we had, I think that Friday was the last day that we had nice weather before we got that really, those really cold temperatures for those 2 weeks. So we got lucky that week.
We did. All right. And if you didn't see City Council meeting this week, just a couple of things that happened that I was really excited about because we did funding in District 6. So the 2021 neighborhood improvements funding and the 2020 pedestrian crossing enhancements, most of the money, I didn't make a big deal about this because I didn't want the other council members to be jealous. Most of the money went to District 6. So the neighborhood improvements, all of the funding was for District 6. Now, if they have money left over, it'll go to other projects, but if you have been to the southeast corner of Central and Waco, either on foot or on bicycle, on the sidewalk there, it is dangerous. I keep telling Gary Jansen, I almost killed myself one day on my bicycle. I thought I was going to topple over one of those bars there. Anyway, we are doing, they found money for modification of that corner. Emporia, Kellogg to Central, if you recall, Emporia is being turned into a two-way. There, this money is being spent on ADA enhancements for that project. McLean Central to 13th, we're redesigning that, making for traffic calming, it's going down to 3 lanes. And as part of the crossing enhancements, the median and signalization during 9th and McLean will be funded also. And then out in our more industrial area of the district, out at 29th Street North, between I-135 and Ohio, there's a lot of industrial traffic in that area, and 29th has always been an issue for those folks. And so we are looking at preliminary design of some changes to that area. So anyway, like I said, I was very excited that all of that funding is coming into District 6 and for improvements in our area. And then I just want to remind you, the newsletter is a great source of information. Probably preaching to the choir here, but if you know of other people that have not signed up for our District 6 newsletter, certainly encourage them to do that. Anna has really worked hard to streamline that newsletter to make it much more user friendly. So take a look at that. And then every week on Saturdays, I produce a little short video and put that out on Facebook. I also send it out to folks that are on my District 6 boards, to the neighborhood presidents, and to some other folks. So if you can always watch Facebook for that, or if you would like to be added, anyone that would like to be added to my distribution list, happy to do that also. And then finally, last thing I have is, you probably heard that we are working on an ethics policy for city council and city boards and commissions. That will be, there'll be a presentation to DAB in April. And then we anticipate that that will come back to city council for a vote at the May 4th meeting. We have taken our time on this and some people don't know this, but there is an ethics policy for city council right now. It is a very aspirational type of policy. And I think what some people were looking for was something that had a little bit more, maybe consequences, I would say, or more definition to it. So at the DAB, you will see what we are working on. We are taking a lot of feedback from the community on that. And like I said, I anticipate a vote on that at the May 4th meeting, or at least it'll come to us for a vote, and we'll see how long it takes us to get to a vote on that. But I anticipate that we'll have a new ethics policy pretty soon. So those are all the announcements, all the information, all the introductions to Ariel today. And any questions, comments, things you guys want to talk about? Anything going on in your neighborhoods we ought to know about? I've given you all the information you need.
Councilmember Claycomb, I do have a comment. We are so happy and thrilled to have Ariel on board. We got a chance to spend some time this week over at the Evergreen Neighborhood Resource Center. So if you guys ever need to get a hold of Ariel, that's where his office will be. So we're just looking forward to continue working together. And I know I speak for myself and all the community partners that work with Evergreen.
Yeah.
So welcome, Ariel. Good to have you on board.
Thank you. And thank you for all your help this week.
Yeah, Ariel is getting settled into his new office, and all that goes with settling into a new office, right? You all have done that before, move from one place to another, and lots of activities that you have to take care of. So
I do like to cook, so Anna got a benefit of a pie this week already, so she doesn't have much to complain about there.
no kidding. Jeez,
That was my breakfast and lunch. That was my breakfast and lunch yesterday at Evergreen. Thank you, Ariel. It was delicious.
That's great. Anything in your neighborhoods we ought to talk about? Anything going on? How many, do you guys know how many of your neighborhoods have signed up for neighborhood cleanups? Anybody heard? Sherwood Glen, good deal. I think, has North Riverside, Claire? I think maybe, yeah. And I'm pretty sure I heard I don't know about Riverside. It seemed like I heard somebody else that signed up, but take advantage of those. Those are great.
Hey, I might just share something really quick. It's been a big issue for me for a long time and for our community, and that has to do with domestic violence. And a lot of people are not aware that anywhere from 20 to 25% of our homicides every year in Wichita are domestic violence caused. That means intimate partners killing their partners. And you know, Wichita is always wanting to address its violent crime problem. And without putting a lot of emphasis on domestic violence and its prevention and deterrence, that part of the violent crime is not going to be reduced. And I've been preaching that, some people would say harping on that for a long time. And Chief Ramsey has had many other issues to deal with since he's gotten here. So he hasn't ignored me. But the city of Wichita, thanks to, I'm sure, Cindy Claycomb and others who have had this topic finally bubble to the top, have invested some new funding in domestic violence work. And one of the things they've done is to create what's called a divert team. And some of that has made the news this week when we've just had another, well, this one was actually prevented, the one that happened in Southeast Wichita. The suspect was shot, not killed, but that one was prevented. Riverside had one not too long ago that was a homicide, and it was a family we know, which is true of every domestic violence incident. They are somebody's families and neighbors, and it does not discriminate between neighborhoods. Anyway, this divert team was created, and one of the things it was created to do was to go out and round up offenders who have violated protection orders, meaning that they go back and they break into, they harass, they follow, they cause problems for, in a variety of ways, threaten, stalk their victims. And the police force has not had officers available to go out and track down these people who, violent offenders many times, like the one who just did this one at Southeast Wichita, just got out of prison in December. And so if he'd had a protection order against him, there'd be nobody out there to track him down if he violated that protection order. And there were hundreds of these warrants out for protection order violators. And so this divert team made it its top priority. I think there's 6 officers on the team, made it their top priority to go out and track down these offenders. And they've almost cleared all those warrants, hundreds of them. And some of the offenders have actually turned themselves in because these police officers were contacting their family members, their places of work, their neighborhoods, anywhere they would hang out. And the offenders felt like, they were harassing their friends and family. And so finally they turned themselves in. Now that all those have been tracked down, they're going to start diverting some of their attention to recent domestic violence victims and going out and following up with them to ask proactively if those protection orders are being abided. And if not, then going out and contacting those offenders. So this is like mega news and accomplishment. And I think not a lot of people know that, but this is going to make a really big dent in our domestic violence problem and down the road, even in our homicide rates. And so I just continue to raise awareness about domestic violence because it does not discriminate. It happens in every single neighborhood. And if you know of anyone who is affected by domestic violence, there are resources that you can share with them that are available that they can take advantage of. I'm kind of connected in that line of work, and because I work at the Wichita Sexual Assault Center, and those issues are very, very intertwined. So if I can ever be of help sharing information about resources or processes, please keep me in mind and other resources in mind. So thanks.
That's great news. Something happening in our neighborhood between Riverside, North Riverside, invasive plant reduction or whatever at Oak Park, April 14th. I think Wichita Audubon Society hosts that. But Oak Park has a lot of invasive plants. We'll just put it that way. So if anyone can help, I think it's 9 o'clock till noon or later, but just go to the Audubon Society website. Also, I sent out a few moments ago to Anna and Cindy and Janet a property information packet on that auction. I believe it's April 4th, and it'll show you the 4 plats or areas that they're looking at. One is along 21st, just north of the theater. That's number 1. And then number 2 includes the theater and the parking behind it. Number 3 goes across west behind the first building on 21st Street and Market. But there's a large area there. And then number 4 is to the east and not on 21st. But it does give you all the information, the dates. It is an absolute auction. Then that brings up a question. If you look at that first page, there is like a salvage yard just 2 buildings down on the east side of Market. Quite an attractive nuisance. I mean, it's just.
Yeah, it's horrible. It used to be storage by the DAV, and I don't know if it's still owned. Is it included in that sale?
It is not included in the sale. I
Yeah.
just drove by there the other day and I could not believe that could exist there.
Yeah, it's
And,
horrible. And I think was owned by the DAV anyway at one time, because they had a store
Okay.
right there adjacent to it.
Right. Well, when I was younger, it was an antique mall adjacent to it, which was really cool.
There's probably still antiques in there.
Yeah, we need to, and that building is also not in this auction, but it does look like it's the Basham Properties. You're probably right. I don't know if anybody can pull it up or wants to look at it. It should be on your emails.
Thank you, Claire.
You bet.
Well, thank you for sending that. I've already sent it to about 6 developers I know that might be good developers for that area.
Yes. Yeah, or else we could form a nonprofit and bid.
Well, man, yeah.
Form
I'll be
our own
sick,
land
sick,
bank.
sick. I'll be so sick if that goes to something that turns into a payday loan place, a convenience
Yes.
store, liquor store, blood plasma collection. Oh,
Yep.
thank you for making us aware of that. I would never have known that. I can't thank you enough,
Yeah.
really, for letting us
Well,
know about
I try to watch because I do have some good investors. They will not be interested in this, but I'm very
Well-
picky on who I work with as a realtor. So
Well, thank you very much.
yes.
Thanks, Claire. Thanks, Claire. Anything else from any other neighborhood? Janet, thanks for an update on the domestic violence and the Divert team. If you look at our newsletter that came out this morning, there's a picture of the Divert team in our newsletter, so you can see who's on that team and some of the work that they're doing. All right, I'm gonna finish it. One other thing, take a look at the newsletter and at an innovative way that our Public Works Department was able to help thaw out water lines. Okay, I'm not gonna tell you how they do it. You have to go look at the newsletter, but it's entertaining. So go and take a look at that. Thank you all for joining us today. Really appreciate it. You know, as always, if you have any questions for me, you can always reach me. The easiest way is by email. And unless there's anything else, I'm going to say have a great weekend.
You should apologize for getting done early.
I don't think anybody will object to that. So,
Let's
All
go out and enjoy the weather.
no kidding.
Yes.
That's where I'm headed. So, all right.
Ariel's being photobombed by his dog there.
I know.
Oh, look at that.
Cute little puppy back there. It's so cute.
She was jealous of the meeting.
Ah, of course. All right. See you all.
Bye-bye,
later.
everybody.
Thanks.
Thank you all.
Bye.